everyone, welcome or welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing well. In today's video, we will be renovating the single streamlet lot in Willow Creek as part of my Rebuilding Willow Creek series. This is kind of part 2. I don't know if I want to call it a series, but I do intend on renovating the whole of Willow Creek at one point and then obviously moving on to the next world. So this is a 20 by 15 lot, and I'm gonna try to keep it under 20,000 simoleans so that it is a starter lot, and so that when you're starting a new family in a save, you have enough money to purchase this lot if you choose to do so. You can find this lot under the gallery under SimWithMishka or hashtag SimWithMishka. But before I get too far into the video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. And if I didn't mention this before, it is a 20 by 15 lot, so it is on the smaller side. So it made sense for me to make this lot for kind of like a single sim, or a very small family. There is a main bedroom, a guest bedroom, and a bathroom. I didn't place a lot of I didn't place any hobby activities actually, because I was creating this for a general kind of family in my head, and I just feel like you choose what hobbies you want to give your sims. And also, when you are just starting out the game, you don't have a lot of money, especially if you're purchasing this lot. I think it's just under 20,000 simoleans, so you wouldn't have a lot of money for your sims to do a lot of hobbies, so they would have to kind of work themselves up to a place where they would be able to afford their hobbies, which I think that is kind of how life works. Now, I never ever make my sims struggle. I always cheat the money, so I always have more than enough money to move them into any kind of world. And I don't know why I do that. Maybe it's because I don't like to see them struggle, but if I wanted to, I think this lot would be perfect for that purpose. So before, you saw me kind of do the shell of the build, and the reason why I made the circular porch in the front was just so that the lot didn't look too blocky, just to give it more shape. And so that's why I did the circle in the front. And also, it's a nice area to have either a chair, read a book. I feel like if we had hanging swings in the game, that porch area would have been perfect for that, but obviously we don't. I could have probably tried to make one, but I'm only just thinking of it now. So I think later on you'll see me just place down a seating area under the porch over there. And then, as a way to save money, I realized that I can use live edit fencing. So I did choose this live edit fencing from the Ravenwood game pack. Oh my word, the Life and Death expansion pack that's in live edit mode. And because it's in live edit mode, it doesn't cost any money, so I was able to cheat a little bit. And then I used the gates from Romantic Garden stuff pack for the for the front and the back. And I use this fencing just because also with normal fencing you can't place it on the boundary of the lot, and I wanted to use all of the space that I had, and so I used this. It also kind of creates a awkward space between the pavement in the front of the lot and the boundary, or not the boundary, but where you can place the fencing, since you can't place it on that last part of the lot or the boundary of the lot. So just to avoid that, I wanted to place it flush against that pavement that you see there in the front, and that's why I also ended up just using the live edit fencing. The live edit fencing was also the style of the fencing that I wanted to use for this lot. Yes, so that is the main parts of this build. Now, my strategy to keep it under this price was to do those things that were necessary first. You'll see me do it mainly on the inside. I'll place down all of the main objects that I would need to make that room a room, or the kind of room that I was going for, and then I come back afterwards and I clutter. I think I did go a little overboard in the cluttering process. Well, if I look at the lot details, right, before I uploaded this to the gallery, it was telling me that the lot was under 20,000 simoleans, but when I was uploading it to the gallery, for some reason it was telling me that it was over 20,000 simoleans. So I had to delete a few clutter objects just to make sure that when anyone else downloads it, that it would be under 20,000 simoleans. And so if you see a book or a clutter object missing, then that is why. Just so that I was making sure that I complied with the starter home idea for this lot. And then I also had another idea that instead of using floor paint, which costs money, floor paint or floor, well, the brick pattern from the floor category, I could just use terrain paint, which also has the same brick pattern, and it also gives you more leeway in where you want to place it, how you want to create the paths and so on, as opposed to using the floor paint brick pattern. Yeah, whatever you call that. Yes, and so I decided here by the circular porch area to have a garden, but more of a messier garden. Well, I don't know if you would describe it as messy once you see it, but that was the idea that I was going for. I do struggle with making messy things. So for me, it's kind of messy because I was just placing plants everywhere. There was no rhyme or reason to how I was placing them. So yeah, that was kind of the idea that I was going for. And then I found these hanging plants also in the base game live edit. All the plants in the front is also from live edit, so I guess I was cheating a little bit there with the price as well, but it's in the game, so it's not really cheating. And so I decided to use it just so that I could have more on the inside than I did on the outside. So yes, before I get too far into this video, I don't know if I mentioned like and subscribe. No, I did. My memory is so bad sometimes, but I did mention that. But anyways, I'm gonna mention this though. We are finally going to get fairies. Now we know for sure, because I know I mentioned it in my past 2 videos that we didn't really know, but now we do know, because we just got the trailer for the new Enchanted by Nature pack, which I'm really excited for, honestly. Not so much for the gameplay, just because I don't have a lot of time. I'm always building or I'm making sims. That is what I enjoy the most. And so I don't necessarily know if I'm excited by the prospect of building fairies, or if I, not building fairies, making fairies, but, or if I'm excited by the prospect of making things for fairies. I like making places that sims can go to. That is my favorite thing to do. So I'm excited to make places for fairies to go to, you know, and for it to make sense, because previously when you did that, you either had a mod or you had a lot of imagination basically, but now you can have it in the game. And so yeah, one of my favorite furniture objects from the game is the spandrels that you see in one of the, I'll see if I can find a shot of it or if I can take a screenshot or whatever. So it's like the twigs that are between the balcony and the, or run along the balcony between the columns, if you don't know what the spandrels are. And I also use the white spandrels on this build. You can kind of see it on the porch area. So that's what stands out the most to me among other things. And so I'm excited for that. And then what I'm doing right now is I wanted to place down a drain and the pipe that comes with Get Together. So I was looking for a drain and I found one in live edit objects. I'm not sure for which pack. And then I placed down the bin as well. I remembered both the mailbox and the bin this time, which is super surprising because I'm always forgetting both or either one of them. Decided to also place down packages over here, as if you know that packages delivered to them. Just got that in debug as well. And then I used the tool mod to rotate one so that it looked like it was slanted against the wall. But anyways, back to what I was speaking about, fairies. So yes, I'm excited for that. I like the build mode objects that I've seen. I'm more interested in seeing the swatches of the build objects. I feel like sometimes the build objects can look so good, but then the swatches are like hit or miss. So I'll wait until I can see that. And then for what I've seen of the world, some parts of the world does look really pretty, and I think my Gshade will probably make it look even better, because I really don't like the grayness of the world without Gshade. I don't know how I ever played the game without my Gshade on, but there's the one part of the world with a big gnome statue. Oh my goodness, there's the one part of the world with the big gnome statue that has like the colorful buildings in the back. I just wish that they were a little bit more creative with the style of the buildings. It doesn't really give fairy to me. I don't know. When I think of fairies, the perfect kind of vibe. I hate using the word vibe, but I use it so much. But the perfect thought that comes to mind is anything Tinkerbell. If you've ever watched Tinkerbell movies, that and the world that surrounds or that they use in that movie, or the different areas, that is fairies to me, at least. And I think that would have been such good inspiration for creating a world based on fairies. That's my opinion. I don't really want to give my final opinions on the world, because obviously there may be places that we didn't see yet in the trailers, but I just do hope that there's a little bit more of a whimsical flair to it when you get to see it fully. Who knows, I may end up loving the world when I see it fully. But let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you think, what you're most excited for. Are you excited for gameplay, build mode, guess? I don't know. I think I lean more to the build mode, as I've described before. But in the build that we're currently busy with, I am just doing the living room. I did use that lamp before. That lamp is from Eco Lifestyle, but I do end up changing it later on, and I mostly went with the color of the rug, so I didn't really have an idea for the design style of the house. I laid down the rug, and the rug is from Laundry Day, and I was like, okay, I like the color scheme, and so I tried to the constant thing throughout the house, I think, except maybe for the bathroom, is the color scheme of the rug, just because I didn't have anything in mind with regards to the design style that I was going for the house. I just wanted to see if I can create something less than 20,000 simoleans. So the last time I did that, I put a timer on it, and I didn't really like what I came up with. So now there's no timer. I would have liked to clutter it a little bit more, but because of the money, I wasn't able to do that. I still think that it's cool though, and it would work for a certain sim that is just moving in. And if you're playing like normal gameplay, then it works for that. And oh yes, I wanted to mention one more thing about fairies is I keep on saying fairies, but it's called Enchanted by Nature. It's a nature theme pack, but I guess the idea of getting fairies is very exciting just because of all of the things that we can build for them. Like I said in the beginning, I like building things that Sims can go to, because I feel that the game can get kind of boring or stale when you don't have really good community lots. And hopefully the community lots in that world's not a gym and a library, or not library, I mean a bar. There'll probably be a bar, but I just want to create other lots that are a little bit more exciting and fitting for that world. So obviously I do think that I would have to wait until the pack comes out to get a proper feel for the world, but I think there are certain things that I can do so long in preparation for that pack coming out. So I'm gonna think about what skills we currently have in the game, or what activities we currently have in the game, and what suits fairies. And so then I'll create some builds for that, or not fairies, but this whole nature theme, what suits that. I'll create a build for that, and then once the pack comes out, it's a build that can be easily integrated into your gameplay when you're using that new pack. And then you can just like adjust the build with certain objects that we get with the new pack, so that that can be used, or that, you know, you already have builds to fill up the world with by the time we get the pack. Now I'm not saying I'll create as many builds as, you know, being able to fill up the world, but there is a lot of creators right now that is doing things inspired by the new pack, so there is more than enough content to create a world that really fits what your idea is of fairies. And so I think I'll create a build that can kind of add to that. The last time I built something for fairies, or that was like fairy like, was with CC, and I think it was like more than a year ago. It was the elixirs and brews bar that I uploaded, but like I said, that was with CC. I've never built something for fairies without CC, so I think I'll try that. I'll see if I can use the objects that we currently have in game to create something that's going to fit with the world just based on what we've seen from the trailer. But that's all I'll mention about fairies for now, until I obviously put out my video on the build that I have. If you have any ideas, let me know. If you think any skills or any activities that we have that currently or that you think would suit that world or make it even better, really, let me know, and I'll see if I can come up with a build that fits that idea. It has been quite hectic though, because I did mention previously that I am studying for my board exams, which is kind of like the bar exams if you're from anywhere else in the world, so that I can be, I don't really want to be, but admitted as an attorney somewhere in the future. So I am studying, working, and then, you know, doing this because I like doing this. Out of the three, this is the only thing that I like. So to keep myself sane, I wanted to try to continue to post even though I have, you know, other things going on as well. But let's get back into this build. I know I was kind of distracted and didn't explain a lot about the build, but I didn't think there was anything that I did that needed really explanation. But then again, I've been building a long time, so what may go over my head, someone may be sitting there being like, what, how did she do that? And if you ever feel that way, please write it in the comments and I'll try my best to explain either what I did or where I found something or what I'm using, because I know once upon a time, and I still do that, by the way, when I'm watching other creators, I'm always wondering, how did they do that? So if you ever feel that way, please don't hesitate to pop me a comment. And then for the kitchen, I used base game counters. A lot of the clutter that I used in there was from everyday clutter, and then also from the not the bathroom clutter, the new one that we got, the kitchen clutter kit. And then now in the bathroom, I'm using things from the bathroom clutter kit. And then the towel rack that I'm placing down there is from the, I think it's laundry day, or it may be spa day, one of the two. Now I've just come back out again. I still had some money left to decorate the outside, place down a seating area, but you'll see me finish up, you know, the outside areas. That seat is from Seasons, and then that small table, which I often use as a coffee table because the coffee tables in this game is too huge. It's from the base game. And then I placed down that table from Love Struck. But that is all for this video. This is where I'm going to end the voiceover. You can find this build under SimWithMishka on the gallery or under hashtag SimWithMishka. If you have any other ideas, please don't forget to pop it in the comments, and please don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you so much for being here, and I will chat to you in the next one. Bye bye.